Mastering After Effects. A Practical Guide to Professional Motion Design. By Ahmed Bahig and Ahmed Abdelghani. Genre: Computers and Technology. Target audience: aspiring motion graphics artists, video editors, YouTubers, and digital content creators. Style: technical, practical, tutorial, instructional, visual heavy, action-oriented. Chapter 1: Setting the Stage, Interface and Workflow Basics. Section 1.1: Decoding the Workspace, a visual tour of panels and tools. Section 1.2: Importing assets and organizing your project bin. Section 1.3: Composition settings, resolution, frame rates, and aspect ratios explained. Section 1.4: Your first save, understanding project files and autosave preferences. Opening Adobe After Effects for the first time feels a bit like sitting in the cockpit of a fighter jet. There are buttons everywhere, unfamiliar graphs, and a dark gray interface that screams complexity. If you feel a slight hesitation, take a deep breath. That is a completely normal reaction for every motion designer, myself included. But here is the secret: you don't need to know what every single switch does to fly the plane. In fact, most professionals only use about 20% of the software's capabilities on a daily basis. The rest are specialized tools you pick up when the specific need arises. In this chapter, we are going to demystify that interface. We will turn that intimidating cockpit into a comfortable, organized creative studio. We will set up your first container for video, import your raw materials, and ensure that your hard work is saved automatically so you never lose a pixel of progress. Let's get your hands on the controls. Section 1.1: Decoding the Workspace, a visual tour of panels and tools. The After Effects workspace is modular, meaning you can move panels around, but that the standard layout is where we should start. It is designed to follow a logical creative flow. You gather materials on the left, build them in the middle, and adjust properties on the right. Think of your screen as a physical workbench. You wouldn't throw your hammer, nails, and wood into a pile and hope for the best. You need a place for tools, a place for materials, and a clean surface to build on. Figure: high-resolution screenshot of the default Adobe After Effects 2024 standard workspace. The image is annotated with bright neon outlines highlighting three main areas: 1. The project panel, left; 2. The composition viewer, center; and 3. The timeline, bottom. The lighting should be clean and UI text crisp. The big three panels. While there are many panels, your workflow revolves around three specific areas. Understanding the relationship between these three is 90% of the battle in navigating the software. 1. The project panel, the pantry, located on the far left. This is where your ingredients live. Your video clips, music, images, and logos sit here before you use them. Nothing appears in your final video unless it lives in this panel first. 2. The composition panel, the canvas. This is the large center window. It is your visual monitor. Whatever you are building, this is where you see the result. If the project panel is your pantry, this is the dinner plate where you present the meal. 3. The timeline, the recipe, running across the bottom. This is where the magic happens. It controls when things appear and how they move. It is a stack of layers. The layer at the top of the stack covers the layers below it, just like papers on a desk. The tools bar. At the very top left of the application window sits your toolbar. You will spend most of your time with the selection tool, the arrow, and the hand tool for moving your view. Here is a quick reference for the tools you need on day 1. Tool icon name shortcut function. If you ever mess up your panel layout, perhaps you accidentally closed the timeline and can't get it back, don't panic. Go to the top menu bar, select Window Workspace Reset Standard to saved layout. Everything will snap back to its factory position. Section 1.2: Importing assets and organizing your project bin. A messy project file is a nightmare waiting to happen. I have seen talented editors lose hours of work simply because they couldn't find a specific file in a sea of chaotic names. We are going to build good habits right now. After Effects does not store your video files inside the project file.eep. Instead, it creates a link to where the file lives on your hard drive. If you move, rename, or delete the file on your computer, After Effects will panic and show you a color bar's error image. Figure, a split-screen comparison graphic. On the left, a chaotic bad project panel with loose files named dimg_001.move and download1.jpg. On the right, a good project panel with neat folders labeled 01_footage, 02_audio, 03_graphics, and 04_comps. A green checkmark sits over the organized side. How to import. There are 3 ways to bring assets into your project panel, ranging from the standard to pro speed. The menu way, go to File, Import a file. The drag and drag files from your computer's File Explorer directly into the project panel. The pro double-click anywhere in the empty gray space of the project panel. This instantly opens the import window. Organizing with bins. In video editing, folders inside your project are called bins. Before you start dragging files onto the timeline, create a structure. Click the folder icon at the bottom of the project panel to create new bins. I recommend this structure for every project, *00_comps, for your timelines, *01_video, for raw footage, *02_audio, music and SFX, *03_graphics, logos, vectors, PNGs. Naming your files before you import them is also a wise move. beach_drone_shot.mp4 is infinitely easier to find later than C00 for 5_xh.mp4. Section 1.3, Composition Settings, Resolution, Frame Rates, and Aspect Ratios explained. You cannot just start editing in After Effects. You must first create a composition, often called a comp. A comp is the container that holds your layers. It dictates the size, shape, and speed of your video. To create one, click the big button in the project panel that says New Composition, or press Ctrl+N, Windows, CMD+N, Mac. This opens the Composition Settings dialog box. Figure, close-up diagram of the Composition Settings dialog box in After Effects. Call-out lines explain specific fields. Width height determines resolution, 1920 by 1080, frame rate shows 24 or 30, and duration shows the timecode format. The visual style should be instructional and schematic. Resolution, how sharp? Resolution is the number of pixels on the screen. While 4K is popular, 1920 by 1080 HD is still the industry standard for most online content, tutorials, and corporate work. 1920 by 1080, the standard HD widescreen look. Best for beginners as it is less taxing on your computer. 1080 by 1920, vertical video, TikTok, Shorts, Reels. 3840 by 2160, 4K UHD. Use this only if you need ultra-high detail and have a powerful computer. Frame rate, the feel of the motion. Frame rate, FPS, defines how many images flash on the screen per second. This choice radically changes the emotional vibe of your animation. 24 frames per second, the cinematic look. Used in movies. Motion feels natural and slightly blurred. 30 frames per second, the TVR broadcaster standard. Used for news, sitcoms, and general YouTube videos. 60 frames per second, the gamer sports look. Extremely fluid and sharp. Great for gameplay footage or high-tech UI animations. Duration, how long? Unlike a video editing timeline which grows as you add clips, an After Effects comp has a fixed length. You have to decide how long the container is. The timecode is displayed as hours, minutes, seconds, frames. If you want a 10-second animation, you would type 1000, which stands for 10 seconds, 00 frames, or simply type 10. 10 followed by a period. Section 1.4, Your first save, understanding project files and autosave preferences. You have set up your workspace, imported assets, and created a composition. Now, before you animate a single frame, you must save. After Effects is a complex beast, and crashes, while rarer than in the past, still happen. Go to File Save As and save your project file, .eep. The golden rule: increment and save. Professional motion designers rarely have just one file named project.eep. We use versioning. If you make a mistake on Tuesday that you can't undo, you want to be able to go back to Monday's version. Use the shortcut Ctrl+Alt+Shift+S, Windows, or CMD+Op+Shift+S, Mac. This triggers the increment and save command. If your file is named myvideo_v01.eep, hitting this shortcut automatically saves a new file named myvideo_v02.eep. Do this every time you make a major creative change. Configuring autosave. Let's set up your safety net. By default, autosave might not be frequent enough for the speed at which you will eventually work. Go to Edit Preferences, Autosave, Windows, or After Effects Preferences, Autosave, Mac. Check the box Automatically Save Projects. Set Save Every to 10 or 15 minutes. Set maximum project versions to roughly 20. Figure, a UI screenshot of the Preferences window focused on the Autosaves tab. That Save Every field is highlighted with a circle showing 10 minutes. A friendly pro tip icon overlay suggests keeping a maximum project versions high to prevent overwriting history. This ensures that AE saves a backup copy in a folder next to your project file called Adobe After Effects Autosave. It is not glamorous, but on the day your computer freezes after 3 hours of work, this folder will look like a treasure chest. Now that the stage is set, the pantry is stocked, and the safety nets are deployed, you are ready to start creating. In the next chapter, we will put things in motion. Figure Mind Map of Chapter 1, Interface and Workflow Basics, Graph TDA, Chapter 1, Setting the Stage, B, 1.1 Decoding the Workspace, B1, the Project Panel, the Pantry, B2, the Composition Panel, the Canvas, B3, the Timeline, the Recipe, B4, Tools, Select, Hand, Zoom, C, 1.2 Importing and Organizing, C1, Import Methods, Menu, Drag, Double-click, C2, the Project Bin Structure, C3, Linking Files vs Embedding, D, 1.3 Composition Settings, DRD1. Resolution, 1080p vs 4K, DRD2, Frame Rates, 24, 30, 60 frames per second, DRD3, Duration and Timecode, E, 1 point for saving and safety, E1, Initial Save.eep, E2, Increment and Save V01, V02, E3, Autosave Preferences Setup, Figure Mind Map.